Well, good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you for being here at today's announcement. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge we are gathered on Treaty 2 territory, and Manitoba is located on the treaty territories and ancestral lands of the Anishinabeg, Anishinaabe, Dakota Oyate, Dene Sulene, and Nehilthowak nations. We acknowledge Manitoba is located on the homeland of the Red River Métis, and that northern Manitoba includes lands that were and are the ancestral lands of the Inuit. We respect the spirit and intent of treaties and treaty making and remain committed to working in partnership with First Nations, Inuit and Métis people in that spirit of truth, reconciliation and collaboration. I'm Andrew Micklefield, the MLA for Rossmere, and I'm pleased to be joined here today by my colleague, Minister Kelvin Goertzen, and also Police Board Chair Marcus Chambers. With us as well, representatives from the RCMP, Superintendent Scott McMurtry, Acting Officer in Charge, Criminal Operations, D Division, and WPS Deputy Chief Jean Bowers. We thank you for joining us here today. Now at this time I would like to invite Minister Goertzen to come and make today's announcement.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here, braving the heat this afternoon in Winnipeg. I want to thank my friend and colleague, Andrew Micklefield, for emceeing this afternoon. I know he is a tremendous advocate, both for his community and for Winnipeg more broadly and the safety within the city of Winnipeg. Also, my friend and colleague, Deputy Mayor Chambers, Chair of the Winnipeg Police Board, and especially representatives from law enforcement, Winnipeg Police Service and the RCMP, who have joined us as well. Each and every day they are doing difficult work. And we know that these are difficult times across Canada, around North America. We are seeing the increase of violent crime. This has now been a trend for many months across North America, and governments are responding, and our government has responded strongly as well. With things that we have control over in a provincial justice jurisdiction, we've increased resources in a number of different areas, not the least of which is a new integrated unit to go after those who are violent offenders and might have outstanding warrants. We've worked with the federal government to look for new and tougher bail restrictions. We've had some success there. We think there's more work to do, but we're grateful for the proposed changes that have been brought forward by the federal government. Some of you will remember, because you might have been here a few months ago, or maybe it was a few weeks ago, where we announced 7 new Crown attorneys specifically dedicated to guns, violent crime, and dealing with those who are charged with those offenses. Since that time, I'm pleased to report 6 of the 7, I understand, positions have been filled, so that unit within Crown prosecutions is doing the important work that it does. But we know that there is more work to do. And as we do things like create an integrated unit to go after those who are violent offenders, that unit is monitoring dozens and dozens of individuals and has arrested many individuals. So we're seeing the impact of that. There are more arrests. Our prison population numbers are increasing because we know that we have to ensure that those who are most dedicated to committing crime in our communities are faced by those who are dedicated from stopping that crime. And those include, not limited to, but certainly include Crown attorneys in the province of Manitoba who do tremendous work. But because of the fact that there are more arrests, and because there are pressures in terms of timelines when it comes to cases, and because we know we need to ensure that those who are committing violent crimes in our communities are off of the streets, we know we need more Crown attorneys. So today I'm pleased to announce that the province is investing approximately $3.5 million for the addition of 25 new Crown attorneys, prosecutors in the province of Manitoba. This will be the largest single increase of Crown attorneys in our province in nearly 2 decades. It's a significant response to a significant problem. I also know that our Crown attorneys, while doing really important work, are doing really difficult work. I know in talking to those who are involved in the branch that there are workload issues, that can cause stress, that there can be mental health pressure as a result not only of the work, but the nature of the work that they do in dealing with very violent offenders and trying to ensure that they are provided a punishment that meets the crime. So these additional 25 Crown attorneys, we believe, will help not only when it comes to the workload issues, certainly help when it comes to moving cases more quickly through the court process, but most importantly, will help in getting those who are violent offenders off of our streets. There's more things to do. As I've said before, the criminal justice system is like a chain, and every link in that chain needs to be strong. Our Crown attorneys are an important part of that link, as are our courts, as are our police, as are other elements of it, and there'll be further announcements on that. But for today, the announcements of a historic increase of Crown attorneys by 25, now more than 200 Crown attorneys in Manitoba, once those positions are filled, we think is an important step in ensuring safety in Winnipeg and throughout Manitoba. Thank you again for the opportunity to be here. I know there's a couple of more speakers that we want to hear from, and then I think there'll be an opportunity for questions.
Thank you, Minister. I'm now going to invite Police Board Chair Marcus Chambers to come and make some remarks.
Thank you, Andrew. I hope you can tell the difference between Minister Goertzen and myself. We are both wearing blue suits and blue ties and brown shoes. There is a distinction, though. I want to thank Minister Goertzen and the province of Manitoba for inviting me to share a few words today at this announcement. Public safety is felt in the utmost way at the local level. Municipal governments are responsible for the funding of community safety strategies that are carried out through a wide range of services, including policing. It takes robust consultation and genuine collaboration to create, enhance, and sustain public safety. Partnerships with the city and the province will forge responsive outcomes that address the rise in violent crimes that we are currently witnessing. Adequate staffing in the province of Manitoba Prosecution Service is of the utmost importance for effective functioning of our criminal justice system. The Manitoba Prosecution Services plays a vital role in upholding the rule of law, supporting public safety, and securing justice for victims. First and foremost, sufficient staffing levels are necessary to handle caseloads efficiently. The prosecutor's workload is substantial, with numerous cases to review, to analyze, and prepare for trial. Insufficient staffing can lead to delays in court proceedings, resulting in the prolonged waiting periods for victims, defendants, and witnesses. Adequate staffing levels also allows for timely resolution of cases, enhancing public trust in the criminal justice system. In early November of 2022, the province announced a joint warrant unit to address the rise in violent crime by repeat offenders. The addition of staff within the prosecution services enables timely prosecution of criminal offenses and supports the law enforcement efforts to keep our streets safe. The third piece of this comprehensive and effective change will be bail reform. And I know that this is being championed by provincial justice ministers across Canada, supported by the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police. Skilled and experienced prosecutors are essential for presenting compelling arguments, examining witnesses, and presenting evidence in court. They possess the expertise needed to navigate complex legal issues and seek appropriate penalties for offenders. A fully staffed office allows for specialization and expertise in different areas of criminal law. Some cases may require specific knowledge and experience, such as white-collar crimes, domestic violence, or drug-related offenses. Having a diverse range of specialized experiences ensures prosecutors can handle a wide range of cases effectively. As I conclude my remarks today on this timely announcement, I applaud the province of Manitoba for enhancing the Manitoba prosecution services. It is crucial for the effective and efficient administration of justice. Adequate staffing levels, as mentioned, contribute to timely resolution of cases, improve quality of prosecutions, and the development of specialized expertise, all of which are essential for the fair and functionality of our criminal justice system. Thank you.
I want to thank you for those remarks, and this does conclude the formal portion of this event. I want to thank everybody for coming out today. There will now be Q&A available, and then we will invite the representatives up for a group photo. Any questions?
What is the current vacancy rate for the prosecution service?
I can get you the current vacancy rate. I can tell you that we've had good success in recruitment. I can also say that where the challenge is clearly with senior prosecutors. So I mentioned that of the 7 that were new positions that were announced a few weeks ago, I understand that 6 have been filled. And of course, because those were senior prosecution positions with firearms and violent offenders, they were coming from within, but they were able to recruit and fill those positions. So it's not like those positions were left vacant from when people moved up into that new unit. So we've had good success in recruitment. I'm speaking to our officials within prosecution. They believe we'll have good success in recruiting and filling these positions. But I also recognize when it comes to senior positions for prosecutors, that is more of a challenge across Canada. We've had some success in getting senior attorneys come into prosecutions, often if they're looking for a different lifestyle than what they're doing in the private bar. But that is a challenge. But on these 25 new positions, I have every reason to believe we'll be successful in recruiting them.
Do you have a timeline for filling these positions?
So now they'll go through the usual HR process. I understand that there's an ongoing and an open competition when it comes to Crown attorneys. So it's not like we open it and close it. We're always recruiting. We had success on the last positions that were open as a result of folks moving into the prosecution unit for firearms and violent offenders, and we expect to have success here as well.
What is the strategy when management is competing with other provinces for senior Crown attorneys, Crown attorneys in general, where the association here is still waiting for arbitration?
Yeah.
What's the strategy to attract people to Manitoba when there's all these
So there's a few different things. I mean, obviously, I can't get into the arbitration issue because that'll go before an arbitrator. But I think that this is actually an important part of it. I've heard the issues around workload. I've heard that directly from our Crown prosecutors, sensitive to that issue. Part of that is because we are seeing more arrests of individuals. Part of it is because of pressures to get cases to trial within the prescribed time frame as set out by Supreme Court decisions. And so I think actually increasing the complement is part of a recruitment strategy. Folks knowing that they're coming into a well-resourced prosecutions branch, I think is part of that strategy. So unlike the last one, Ian, where we dedicated 7 specifically to violent crime and to guns, we haven't done that specifically here. That doesn't mean we might not respond and say that we're going to carve off a special prosecution unit if we think that there's something that needs to be addressed specifically. But we'll recruit these positions first and then make some decisions from there.
Can you clarify that announcement from February? Because at the time it was 10. The announcement was for 10 Crown prosecutors. I know the association was like, hey, these are from, we're just taking them from existing, and you're mentioning a number of 6 and 7 now. So
It was 10 positions in prosecution, 7 Crown attorneys, 3 support staff, and 6 of those positions have been now filled, I'm told.
There's no, the Manitoba Association of Crown Prosecutors are not in attendance today. They're not quoted in the press release. Do they not support this? Why are they not a part of it?
Well, I won't speak for the association itself, but obviously, you know, there's an ongoing arbitration. We want to be careful not to be looking like we're trying to influence the outcome of the arbitration process. So, you know, I would expect that prosecutors would be generally supportive of increased positions and the support that comes with it. The issues that exist before an arbitrator will be dealt with through arbitration.
The positions that are announced, just to clarify, is over and above the 7 attorney positions?
Over and above the 7. So I believe in talking with officials this morning that we should have about 201 prosecutors when these positions are filled.
So, with respect to arbitration and getting to the association and your collective agreement, what kind of urgency does this present to you? Do you want to see these negotiations kind of come to a conclusion sooner than later, or how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I would always want to see things conclude sooner than later where all parties are satisfied. This is now not so much a negotiation as an arbitration, and so there's an arbitrator, there'll be a process by which that'll go through, but you know, I would always be satisfied with a resolution that was quicker than later, but there is a process that has to be gone through without interference from the minister.
What was maybe the impetus for this? It was only a few months ago when the 10 or the 10 the announcement 10
Yeah.
was made. Now you more than double that. Did something come to light in the last?
So thanks for that, Ian. The announcement on the 10 position, 7 new crowns a few weeks ago was specific to the issue that we were seeing around gun crime, violent crime, and trying to ensure that there were specific resources there. It dovetailed a little bit with the integrated unit going after violent offenders, particularly those who had outstanding warrants, and we've seen and articulated by the deputy mayor some of the success there in terms of arrests and monitoring of individuals. We're doing more monitoring of individuals on bail. But the reality is, and we're seeing it in our prison population numbers, which are increasing, that we are, being more aggressive when it comes to ensuring that we're going after those who are on the streets, who are either posing or could pose a threat to the community. When those individuals are arrested by the fine law enforcement folks that are represented behind me, then they go into the court system. And if the court system becomes a delay, that becomes another problem. So as we see, challenges continue to emerge, we're looking to address them and to ensure that the system moves quickly to apprehend, prosecute, and if necessary, incarcerate individuals who are committing violent crimes in the community.
How long do you expect it will take to have an agreement reached with the association?
That's between the arbitrator and the association. They have a process. The Ministry of Justice is not involved in the arbitration process.
You met with the mayor on community safety officers earlier this morning. What update did you provide?
So we had a number of different discussions, good discussions regarding both the supports that are happening in the community regarding downtown community safety patrol and that social support for individuals who need support, but then also talked about the need to ensure that there is enforcement for those who are committing crimes or might be committing crimes in the community, and that part of that is community safety officers for our transit. We are rapidly increasing training that'll be happening, I believe, in Brandon and Winnipeg for community safety officers. My expectation is that by the fall of this year, the unit that the mayor committed to during his election campaign will be trained and ready for deployment in a way that the city sees fit.
On a similar topic, how close is Manitoba Justice to having an agreement with Shared Health for institutional safety?
So it's not an agreement between Manitoba Justice and Shared Health. Manitoba Justice is responsible for the training of institutional safety officers, and then the agreement is between the institution and those officers. So for example, we created the institutional safety officer program, Justice did, put in place the training. Training has been happening. The University of Manitoba chose to go the route of institutional safety officers. There's been dozens trained, I believe, for the university. I believe that they're already operating at the university, and shared health would have that opportunity as well. And there may be broader opportunity for community safety officers to do that sort of work too.
Government does have to sign off on the deployment of these officers into hospitals. There's some collaboration that has to take place. So when do you expect to see
Yeah, I haven't spoken for health for many years, and I'm not looking to launch myself back into that role. So I think those would be more appropriately directed to shared health. Thank you.
Okay, ready? 3, 2. Okay, one more. Okay, ready? 3, 2.
I left on the 7th and I was there for about 6 days. So it was a great holiday. It was the Country Music Award Festival. Yeah, so a bunch of country all weekend and stuff. So it was super fun. Yeah. Hunter Wood. He's just right there. Yeah.